Good morning. Good morning. It's April 16th. I'm streaming live. I've got a beautiful destination here to share with you today. I want to welcome you in. You hear a mix of noises. And as I'm streaming, I'm wanting to check my signal. So if you're listening, hearing, streaming live, just give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you can hear me. And we'll just take a moment to just listen to these waves behind me. Maybe even encroaching me. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Let's allow this moment to unfold whenever, wherever you're finding this. We could probably just do a show and listen to the waves. They're so relaxing. Take a moment to pause and breathe. Take a moment to pause and breathe. Listen to the waves. Maybe you've had a busy week. Maybe thoughts have been racing. Maybe you felt a little anxious about a decision. Maybe you've just been coasting and there's like this subtle yearning that kind of sits beneath the surface, and you go through life taking care of your obligations, but you feel like there's this longing for something more. Just let me know that my sound, my video is coming across if you're on. And these waves, just like waves coming in. Give yourself a moment of calm. Pause. Just to be present. I mean, that's what the show is. It's all about being present. And we want to practice that now. So begin to breathe through your nose. Nice flow in. Pause. Exhale. In through the nose. Pause. Exhale. A few conscious breaths. And as you're breathing, allow your belly to expand out. It's okay. No one's watching. Let those lungs fill to capacity and then empty. Each breath that fills your lungs is oxygenating your blood. It's bringing in a state of calm, bringing you into this moment. Perhaps you hear the waves in the background. I want to welcome you this morning. Special location here. I'm located in Annapolis, right outside of Annapolis, Maryland. And it's a place called Terrapin nature park. And I thought it was going to be easier to get to the water, but we made it. We made it here. And we got this beautiful view for you today. And I want to talk about resetting, pushing the reset button, but through the power of unlearning. Unlearning. It's not a term you hear too often, especially today, because we're obsessed with learning. We want more information, more content. But today I'm going to delve into the power of unlearning, what it could mean for you, and is it relevant at this stage for you to reset? I want to welcome in our audiences, Facebook, YouTube, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Roku, as well as our podcast listeners that will get this. And we always tell our podcast listeners that there's always pauses here that seem to come out of nowhere, and just to go with it, use those opportunities. And even if you're doing the video, just if there's a pause that seems to happen inadvertently, just allow it, allow it and use it as a moment of observation, And I want to keep an eye on the tide behind me here because I think we'll be okay for our time together, but just in case. So let's talk about unlearning and what are the steps to unlearning? Can we, and I think what I want to do with you is just check in, really. I think it's important to check in with yourself and see what's going on. I'm going to go through that with you today. If you're on here, let me know you can hear me okay. I am battling with, there's different noises happening, and I just embrace it. I'll show you, we got the bridge over here. Oops, this way. We got the bridge. And hello. Good morning.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. Good morning. So we got some visitors with us. We have a beautiful, beautiful backdrop here. And let's talk about unlearning. But let's give yourself a moment to check in with yourself. What does that mean, check in with yourself? It just means that be present with your current state. Are you in a state of anxiety? Are you feeling the calm of the Sunday? Are you how did your morning start? Are you obsessing on something? Do you feel a little bit of unrest? Just notice it. Just notice what's going on with you. And we're going to start there. And then I have some great concepts that I'm going to share with you this morning. If you're wanting to push reset in your life, if you want something new, maybe you feel that yearning, it's kind of underneath the surface where you feel like there's more, you're longing for more, but maybe you've been coasting and maybe you're feeling like, is this all there is for me? Because when you start to think about a new opportunity or a new designing a new life could seem daunting. I want to talk about that today and the power of unlearning, and the quote that I wrote down, I'm sure maybe someone else has said it before, but the power, learning is incomplete without unlearning. Learning is incomplete without unlearning. And if we look at society, and I want to ask you to share this with somebody this morning that may be looking for this. Good morning, beautiful Anilda Davila. Good morning. Wow, yeah, it's beautiful here, Anilda. It's beautiful. It was a little bit of a trek to get here because I went the long way, but I still arrived on time. But designing a new life can be daunting. But let's talk about it. I have some concepts I want to share with you. Some of these are mine. Some of these I pulled to get some other resources for you. But please, love, share this. It's it's important because I've realized that if one person gets this, one person that needs it, it could have a dramatic positive impact on their life. And I've gotten the messages from people that where this show has changed their life. But if somebody didn't share it, they would never have gotten it. So we are obsessed with content. If you think about it, we're obsessed with learning, especially today. We are living in an age of, we talked about the information age. It's like that was a term that we used years ago. So where is it today? It's think about information, how quickly and easily we can access just about anything we want at our fingertips. And I don't think we think about that too often, because what becomes commonplace becomes, we take it for granted, the fact that we can access anything. So what I want to propose to you is that in the age of information, experience becomes rare. In the age of information, experience becomes rare. And that's why I work passionately to bring an experience to you, to be able to get to these destinations and open up your world through the power of imagery that goes beyond information. You know, the crashing waves probably say more than I'm going to say in this show. They speak more, their energy. And albeit coming across your screen, you associate the power of water and waves. You associate the power of life and energy as it's moving and dynamically. And information can overload us. We can become overloaded with information. And so what I want to do today's show is I want to talk about unlearning, the power of unlearning. Now, I shared this last night at a talk. And Nilda, you probably heard this. It's a Carl Jung quote. And he says this: the first half of life is devoted to forming a healthy ego. The second half of life is going inward and letting go of it. Carl Jung. So let me ask that again. The first half of life is devoted to forming a healthy ego. The second half of life is going inward and letting go of it. I propose the first half is a lot easier. We do it unthinkingly. We form our ego largely unconsciously, our identity, our persona to society. We build it up over time. And I wrote down, the ego loves identity. The ego loves to prop itself up on labels and identity. And I would venture to say we are laden with labels and information and identity. And while it's a great thing, because we need that, if we're not aware, we become laden, even burdened, because there's so many things happening. And then there becomes almost like this silent addiction to information. We want to find the next ideology that we can prop ourselves. We want to present it to the world. And that's why I love this quote by Carl Jung, is that the first half of life is devoted to forming a healthy ego, and the second half is going inward and letting go of it. And here's what I want to propose to you, and this is going to hit home. What if you never heard this concept today? And what if you never integrate it? What if you lived with little to no self-awareness? And you just kept living on repeat? And I believe that largely this is what happens. And you heard the quote that people die with their music still in them. What does that mean? People die with their music still in them. It means that we settle for a life that's formed on our ego, and we never truly go inward to discover our true gifts and bring them to the world. We are laden with the rules of society for conformity to fit in and quote unquote have a good life. And this is not me being anti-system or conspiracy theory, anything like that, because everything serves us. And I believe our systems that were in place have a purpose. But without the unlearning or the opposite, it can lead to anxiety and unfulfillment. So what if you never integrated the concept of looking at your ego at this stage of your life, looking at the identities and being willing to play with the opposite? And let me just do this. I had written this down. I'm going to do this right now. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being fulfilled, 1 being not fulfilled. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 means you're fulfilled. You've experienced bliss, some form of bliss, daily, if not weekly, if not daily. You're fulfilled with life. 1, you're completely unfulfilled. Where is your fulfillment level? That's what I propose to you, that question today. You don't need me to tell you. You know what your fulfillment is in this moment. You know if you're dealing with a low level of discontent. And the question is, what if you don't integrate this process? What if you don't? Life could be on repeat, and you might just live with information that you've accrued that maybe gives you a life, but it's not a fulfilled life. So how can we integrate this and unlearn? So I'm going to get into that, but the power of this show and the power of pure presence is being in the moment. So while there's content, there's also no content. So I am going to step out of the way, and I want you to just give the gift to yourself, whether you're, again, live, you're listening live, you're on the playback, you're on the podcast. If it's possible, pull over, stop, and just pause for a moment and just see if you can feel what's happening in your body, listening to the sounds. Just give yourself this window, just a little opening right now. Give yourself this gift, this beautiful gift of this moment, and then I'll go back and revisit it. So take a moment to pause and breathe. just a feeling of bliss. I feel so fulfilled in this moment. I'm just so grateful. And I just pray that it's coming across to you. Thank you, Anilda. Anilda's saying, want to be where you are. It's beautiful here. Again, even if you're on the podcast, you're probably hearing the waves. I feel bliss right now. I'm like a 9 or 10 fulfillment. And it's just this beautiful opening up to life. Before we get back into the content, I do want to take a moment to honor our sponsors. I'm blessed. I have 2 amazing sponsors. Miss Julie Gandy from Peace and Love Amplifiers just wrote a book, A Jersey Girl Finds Peace. She is doing some incredible work, 25 years of study on inner peace building, worked in the hospice space. It's just done an incredible service to people. And I think it's important that people find out about her, engage with her programs, her process. And I'm going to put up a QR code. And the thing is, I think it's important if you just connect with her. Like, you don't have to have it figured out. Just to reach out and connect and have a conversation is a good thing. So let me put Miss Julie Gandy's information up here for you. And her phone number is, I'm going to do this for you on the podcast. It's 609. Let's see here. Let me get this number for you. 634 2396. So you can reach out to Julie, and I know she'll welcome a call if you're dealing with a lot of inner angst, anxiety. You know, this show, I hope and pray this helps you, but you can also connect with Julie Gandy. And then our next sponsor is none other than Duchess DJ Love. We call her, well, her brand is Gallivanting Like a Royal, and she has an incredible travel catalog. I wonder what her passports look like. She's been to 10 countries, all 50 U.S. states. She loves bringing travel into people's lives, and she loves showing them how to do it on a budget, so you can get all the benefits of luxurious travel, but on a budget. And the reason why she sponsored the show is because travel goes hand in hand with experience and life and living in the moment. And I'm honored to have her as a sponsor. I'm going to put up a couple QR codes. She's got a book, Traveltude, and many other ways you can connect with her. She's got her own show. So let me just share that with you. And then we're going to get back, after I share this, we're going to get back to unlearning, pushing reset, and, learning to live life more fully now in the moment. So let me put that up. And if you're on the podcast, just if you Google Gallivanting Like a Royal, Duchess DJ Love, you will find her. She loves to spread love to people, and she does it all the time. She just does it in various ways outside of her brand. She helps people that a lot of people don't even know about it. So she's amazing. So anyway, connect with Duchess DJ Love. I'm glad you're here today, whether you're live or you're on the playback. And I just want to honor Anilda. And Anilda is giving some shout out to Julie as well as DJ. Yeah. All right, let's get back into it. And we're talking about unlearning. Unlearning. I wrote down some things here that we can draw from today. Let me just get some water here with we got the live life fully now as a moniker here for the show. Pause and breathe and live life fully now. And I'm serious about this for you and for me. It's not just a tagline to get your attention. It's real. It's real. And I want it to be real for you. I want to convey that to you. We're meant to live fully. We're not meant to live half. And living fully is not what society says it is. So I'm going to just take some water here. Make sure you hydrate today. Water is the source of life, good, healthy water. And let's get into resetting. I said earlier, learning. And by the way, I want to encourage you to share this with one person that you think would like this, benefit from this, get something from this. So learning is not complete without unlearning. If we're in a state of learning perpetually and you're just filling your head with information, you can tend to live on repeat. You can live in a state where life just repeats. In other words, and after people have worked for companies for many years, it's like you feel like you're coasting. And the dog just barked, so I got a couple dogs down here in the water. Let's see if we can see them. I mean, it is just beautiful here today. I hope it's coming across for you. It's gorgeous. And in a moment, I'll step out so I can just share some of the scenery here. So learning is not complete without unlearning, and unlearning needs to be intentional. Learning is going to happen naturally. Learning, when you go through your day, you're going to have conversations. You're going to check your smartphone. You might watch TV. Information is constantly coming into your mind. And many times we are not aware, we are not self-aware, and we just go forward. We're not thinking about what we're doing. And the whole idea for unlearning is to pause and breathe. Pause and breathe. And now what does that mean? Because we just did that in the show. So if we pause and breathe right now, right? You stop, you close your eyes, and you pause and you breathe. Pause and breathe. We're just going to do it right now. So I want you to take a moment, real time, pause and breathe. Hello, how are you? You're on video, but it's okay.
Oh, okay.
We love the scenery. So pause and breathe, right? Now let's get into what I mean by that. So pause and breathe. If you did that, Just type in the comments if you took the time to pause. Let me know in the chat if you took the time to pause and breathe. So keys to unlearning. Number 1, pause and breathe. Now, that pause and breathe is in this moment. If you just did it, but it's also a great metaphor for when we pause in life and give ourselves time to breathe. And what I wrote down here is allow thoughts to pass through your mind. Avoid identity with that thought. This is where the challenge comes in for our human species. And it's where the greatest opportunity lies. We tend to be unconscious and we identify with thoughts and labels. And then we become reactive. So the idea is to avoid identity with thought, avoid reaction, avoid judgment. Allow the void, the openness where there's seemingly nothing or just what's happening in this moment. That is the greatest challenge and the greatest opportunity for the human species. And the more we live outside, we can be in a state of dis-ease. When we come into this place that I'm describing, it's not even a place, it's an allowing of an experience. We create the opportunity for unlearning and the openness of simply being alive. And in that simply being alive, we live fully now without having to get there. It's a natural, organic process. So can we do that? Can we pause and breathe in this moment and make it a practice? That's what we do throughout the show. So throughout the show, we pause and breathe for you in this moment, but also for you to make it a practice in your life. So whenever life is coming, you can just step away and you can pause and breathe. And when you do that, you're conditioning yourself to make that a part of your life. Oh, thank you, Ariella. Ariella's on here listening today. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. And next thing, number 2, is what I just shared. Be present with nothingness. You see, this is why, hey, check this show out. It's about nothing. It's an art, and we need it to create the contrasts to live fully. It's learning and it's unlearning. Number 3, accept what has been. Accept what has been. That means to be aware of where you are and to accept what you've created to this point. Pause, because if we don't pause, you will relive that. When you pause, you create openness, you allow something new to come in. Yes, Ariella was at the book launch, Dana's book launch last night. Well, it was a book launch. That was her first event. And Ariella got up and spoke and touched everyone last night. So if you don't know that, well, this is background information. I spoke at an event here in Annapolis, Maryland. And it was a beautiful launch of Dana's brand and her book, and it was a great event. So in the line of that, I want to pause for a moment and give some of you a little bit of a backdrop of this location. So I'm currently parked, and I'll get back to the remainder of the keys here. But this is about being in the moment, letting it unfold. I'm in Queen Anne's County, I am at Terrapin Nature Park or Nature Preserve. It's an award-winning 276-acre nature park. Features a 3.25 mile oyster chafe walking trail. And as it goes through these tidal marshes, which I just walked through, which meanders through wide wildflower meadows, wetlands, tidal ponds, woodlands, and sandy shoreline. And clearly I'm on the sandy shoreline right now. The trail provides a unique vantage point for viewing an incredible variety of waterfowl, wildlife, and plant species. A gazebo, well, I got to find the gazebo, is located along the sandy shoreline, afford a spectacular view of the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. We have that right now, I can share with you. Across the marshlands and through the woodlands. Features 2 observation blinds overlooking the tidal ponds. The trail connects to the county's Cross Island Trail System nearby. Parking for the Cross Island Trail System is available at Old Love Point Park. Portable toilets are available year-round. That's good to know. Please remember that Terrapin Nature Park has no coolers, etc., etc. So I'm on what website am I on? I am on the Queen Anne's County website as I'm sharing this information with you. And what else is a great metaphor? I can tie this in. Oh, yeah, we have the love yourself. That's right. The love yourself hashtag. That was from last night. As I'm walking through here, this is really a great metaphor. There's all kinds of plants, trees, flowers, and I'll see if I can spin this around, because right here I'm in a little bit of a newer forest area here. But as I'm walking around through here, I'm watching these old forests, trees that have died, almost like petrified wood. And you see this contrast of old forestry breaking down, dying, going into the soil. And then you see this burgeoning new growth. And this is a great metaphor for what we're talking about today, because it's the contrast. It's like, if I'm going to continue to hold on, if you were just joining, we did a poll on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 means you're really fulfilled, you feel bliss. 1 means you're not fulfilled. And if you are not fulfilled, if you're at a 5 or anything 5 below, or even 6 below, are you holding on to that old wood that needs to just die and decompose? Are you holding on to it as it petrifies? And if you hold on to it, it's like you petrify with it. Are you willing to let go of it and embrace the new growth, to step into the void, to open up, to allow new growth to come in? Are you open to that? And the other thing I want to bring in here is a sabbatical. Type in the chat if you know what a sabbatical is. A sabbatical. So let me just review the keys to unlearning. And these are my keys. I just created this. It's going to be a part of the book, Midlife Oasis. It's going to be coming out. Number 1, pause and breathe in this moment and in life. And therein lies sabbatical. What does the word sabbatical mean? 2, be present with nothingness or void of identity. Accept what has been. Accept it. Don't resist it. If you've led a tough life or it's been difficult, I'm asking you to embrace it and accept it, not fight it and resist it. Who cares what society says about it? Learn. Number 4, learn to embrace uncertainty. The life that you've lived, the patterns that you've created, and the habits, the reason why you go back to them is because they give you a sense of certainty. even if they are causing you to be stagnant and you're not growing, they give you a sense of certainty. You somehow get a need met. You feel certain, but it just repeats that unfulfillment. And here's the key. It goes in line. It's an overlying theme. Time, space, and grace. To empty. Time, space, and grace to empty. To empty the mind. To detach from the emotions and the thought. And I want to share a quote from Bruce Lee right now. Empty your cup so that it may be filled. Become devoid to gain totality. Empty your cup so that it may be filled. Become devoid to gain totality. Now, simple. We can discover the profound in the simple. If you go to the store, you go to the coffee shop. You go to the coffee shop and you order a coffee. Pick your drink. You order coffee or tea. And you go to get the cup. You take the cup. It's got the lid on it. And you drink it. And in the cup is balsamic vinegar. So you ordered coffee or tea. You go to drink it. And it tastes like balsamic vinegar. What do? You don't drink it, right? You're not going to drink it. You're going to empty the cup or go get a new cup of what you ordered. What have you ordered in life to this point? See, life is not so simple for us to go get a new cup. It can be. But what if you could go get a new cup? Some of you have been metaphorically drinking balsamic vinegar. Imagine what comes to your face when you drink vinegar. You're like, maybe you need to empty the cup. Get a new cup and fill it. Experience the emptiness of the cup. Maybe instead of just refilling the cup, you need to notice the emptiness of the cup. And it's interesting how you don't pay attention to the space in the cup, do you? You pay attention to the cup. But there's the space in the cup. There's the space that the cup creates to allow it to be filled and emptied. Filled and emptied. If you put something in a cup that hardens, if you put concrete in a cup and it hardens, guess what happens? What happens to the cup? You can't use the cup anymore. Because the value in the cup is having the space in the cup to fill and empty, fill and empty, fill and empty. Go back to my earlier question. What if you don't take time? Or I should say, what if you don't become aware of the need to pause, to step away from the way you've been living or to observe it? What happens? Look at the last 5 years of your life. Yes, I'm talking about the past, the power of pure presence. That's what has been, right? What will be starts now. I'm going to share a poem with you. A couple final thoughts. I want to get your final thoughts. If you're on the chat, say hello. Did you look up the word sabbatical? Did you check in with yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, how you're feeling? What's going on? If not, do that now. Here's a poem for you. I'm going to be publishing a poetry book here soon. I was in prison and I couldn't find the key. It's as if everyone was free but me. I search every crevice for slivers of hope, dashed against disbelief, seemingly unable to cope. Restlessness turns to struggle, for I will not quit. Something deep inside feels wholesome and legit. I continue to search, and one day I find I held the key the entire time. I am profoundly aware I played both captive and captor. Now, life opens up, and I begin a glorious new chapter. A glorious new chapter. Something deep inside feels wholesome and legit. And the more you try to avoid that, the more you idealize yourself for forms and thoughts and ideas that are not yourself, the more you will feel discontent. You feel stuck and stagnant. You feel like there's no way. But something deep inside feels wholesome and legit. And ultimately, it doesn't even matter what I say. I'm here as this is all perspective. It's all this is. Just like we look out over the water, it's all perspective. And this is something I wrote down on the next page after the poem. I finally realize that the gift is to cultivate my path and blaze my trail. I finally realize that my true worth is not based on my ability to conform to another's path. My true worth is learning from another's path and then boldly blazing my own path. My true worth is learning from another's path and then boldly blazing my own path. And that's really what this is. In summary, Carl Jung said the first half of your life is to develop a healthy ego, and the second half is to go inward and let it go. And that's what this process is for. It's to practice letting go. It's to pause and breathe in this moment and throughout our life, to create the contrast of learning and unlearning information, no information, content, no content. And this is where we can open doors in ourselves that we didn't know we had or didn't know needed opening. We can discover things about ourselves that we never knew. And ultimately discover who you really are at your core. It sounds simple, doesn't it? Discover who you are at your core and live from that place. It sounds so simple, doesn't it? But it's not. Because the world screams loud and proud and nonstop, conform, conform, conform. And again, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying the world is bad or society is bad. Awareness is key. What do you most need at this season in your life? I don't think we had anybody look up the word sabbatical. And tomorrow night I have my show, the Austin J. Haynes Show, at 7 o'clock. That's where I bring on guests. We bring on guests for that show. And if you have an exciting story, let me see if I can share this with you. We're working on a project right now to help people share their story. And it's called the Underdog's Diaries. Let's see if I can pull that up here and share with you this concept of putting people's stories in a book. It's everyday people, extraordinary results. So what I'll do is I'll go to the webpage, do a little commercial. I don't promote a whole lot on this show because I want to keep it pure, but this is something I want to get out there for folks to know about. So let me share this right now. Okay, where are you? Oh, there we go. All right. Thanks for bearing with me. You didn't hear it? All right. I apologize about that. I'm dealing with some tech, but you know what? It's all good. Go to theunderdogsdiaries.com, theunderdogsdiaries.com, and a sabbatical. I promise that. A period of paid leave, typically with university where they've taught a long time, but they take a sabbatical. Traditionally, 1 year every 7 years. Isn't that interesting? Food for thought. How often do we take a sabbatical? We just keep going at it, don't we? Chase and race, strive and drive, chop away, and next thing you know, where'd the last 5 years go? So I trust that this show will interrupt that pattern. You'll start to look at things a little different. I'm going to put that video back on again, Anilda. I'll play it again, and we'll let our Roku, Apple TV audience, we're going to end for you now because we're up against the clock. But for those of you that are streaming live, I'll give you the opportunity to see it again. And if you are watching, just go to the underdogsdiaries.com, theunderdogsdiaries.com, or go to my website, austinhaynes.com, and you'll see the tab for the Underdogs Diaries. You can go there. And for those of you listening live, let's see if I can pull this up again for you. And we're going to make it work this time, I promise. You know what? I don't think it's going to work. All right. Let me just try one more thing. And I want to thank you for being here today. And as we're closing out, definitely think about, your fulfillment. Like, think about your fulfillment level, because the more you can make that a practice to check in with that, you become more aware of your journey. And the more you become more aware, it's like the natural way to create change without having to force your will upon it. It's a natural progress. It's a natural process. Do you know what I mean? It's not you trying to have to force your will every time. I think this is it. Let's see. All right, everyone, we are back, and I think I have it figured out. I have it sorted out for you. Have an inspirational story and a message you want to get to the world? Welcome to the Underdogs Diaries.
I've always been in a situation where money was not my friend, and it's not because I didn't understand the strategy, right? Because the 80-20, it's not so much strategy as it is mindset, right?
An exciting new campaign that will feature your story in the newest book series, The Underdogs Diaries. A live virtual summit and a live in-person event in Philadelphia featuring the Rocky Steps. Listen, the world needs your story now more than ever. People are seeking answers and inspiration. That's where you come in. We are launching this project, the Underdogs Diaries first edition, this year, and we're looking for incredible underdog stories. If this sounds like you, complete the application today and get the process started. Additionally, for you solopreneurs, side hustlers, and entrepreneurs, we're going to have various options to help you grow your business. Complete the application today and let's get started. Wow, what an incredible show. For those of you still on, thank you for being here. Just blessed, just to be here in this location. Let me know if you enjoy this. You can chat, even if it's on the playback, share, and I'll see you tomorrow night for the Austin J. Haynes Show. We have two incredible guests. We have Lisa Fratelli and Phyllis Iman, both somehow connected to neuroscience, the brain, and wealth and wellness, and maybe this is part of creating and designing that next part of your life. So thanks everyone for being here. We'll see you tomorrow night.